Hello, my little mathematicians. Today, we're going to learn how to add and subtract decimals. So go ahead and follow along on your foldable. And at the very bottom, right now, can we write down the steps? The first thing you want to do when you're adding and subtracting with decimals is to line up the decimals so that the numbers are lined up in the correct place value. Okay, because if they're not in the same place after the decimal, then they're not in the correct place value. After you have them lined up, you add and subtract from right to left. Okay. Then don't forget to always regroup or borrow when necessary if you're subtracting. And you bring the decimal straight down for your final answer. Sometimes I like to do that last step actually first so that I don't forget about it. Okay. So first off, let's go ahead and for this number 1, let's line up our decimals. There's 2 numbers after the decimal here and 2 numbers after the decimal here. So they're each going to have 2 numbers after the decimal. So I'm going to put the decimal right here. For the top one, it's 1 and 9 to the left of the decimal, or to the right of the decimal, and 8 is to the left. For the next one, 73 is to the right of the decimal, and 2 is to the left of it. Okay, and we are adding. Now that everything's lined up in the correct place, I'm going to add going down. Okay, and again, you start from the right and work your way left. So 9 plus 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 and 1 make 2. 2 plus 7 is 9. Bring down your decimal. And 8 plus 2 is 10. Now, of course, you don't have to do it in these boxes like this. For the future, these aren't going to be provided. But for right now, while we're learning, this is a nice, good practice, okay? For number 2, it's almost the same, except this time we're subtracting. The first thing is still the same, though. I'm going to look, there's 2 numbers after the decimal, 2 numbers after the decimal. So I'm going to put the decimal with 2 places out. So I have a 5 and a 3 to the right of the decimal and a 19 to the left of the decimal. A 49 to the right of the decimal and a 7 to the left of the decimal. Whatever comes first goes on top, which doesn't necessarily matter if you're adding, but it totally does if you're subtracting. Okay, and now I'm here. Always start from the right and work your way left. 9, take away from 3. You can't do it, so I have to borrow. Okay, and then I add 1 to the 3. So now you have 13 minus 9, which is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down your decimal. 9 minus 7 is 2, and 1 minus nothing is 1. So my final answer is 12.04. Okay, remember you can always pause the video and try it yourself first, and then unpause it and check. This one has 2 numbers after the decimal. This one only has 1. So you always go with a larger amount of 2. So I'm going to go 2 over and then draw my decimal, draw my decimal. Okay, to the right of the decimal is 34. And then you have 17 to the left of it. To the right of the decimal is 2. So I'm going to put a 0 placement holder right there. Because the 2 should be in the tens place, right? The 2 is still in the tens place. And then there's nothing in the hundredths place. So I put a 0 placement holder there. To the left of the decimal is 6. What's my sign? We're adding. Okay, start from right to left. So 4 plus 0 is 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. Bring down your decimal. 7 plus 6 is 13. 1 and 1 make 2. My final answer is 23.54. Number 4, there's 2 numbers to the right of the decimal, 1 number to the right of the decimal. So we need to go 2 numbers out. 0 and 9 are to the right. 3, 8, and 1 are to the left of it. 4 is to the right. Let's put a 0 placement holder. And 7 and 2 is to the left of it. Okay, and we're subtracting. Just double check. 183.09, 183.09, 27.4, 27.4. And my decimals are lined up. Because if you don't copy down the correct problem, no matter even if you do the math right, you're still going to miss it because you didn't copy down the original problem. So get in the habit of always double checking you copied down the problem correctly. 9 minus 0 is 9. You can't take 4 from 0. So let's borrow from that whole number over there. And then add 1 here. 10 minus 4 is 6. Bring down your decimal. Can't take 7 from 2, so let's borrow. And that becomes 12 now. 12 minus 7 is 5. 7 minus 2 is 5. Bring down your 1. So you have 155.69. Okay, the next one is a word problem. It says on Saturday, Miles ran 3.4 miles, and on Sunday, he ran 5.17 miles. How far did he run this weekend? So I want to know the total distance that he ran, which means I'm going to add these two numbers. So you have 3.4 and 5.17. The greatest number after the decimal is 2 digits after the decimal. So let's go 2 places out. You have 3.4, let's put a 0 placement holder, and 5.17. We're adding. Okay, 0 plus 7 is 7. 4 plus 1 is 5. Bring down your decimal. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8.57 is my final answer. The next word problem says Jane has $392.85 in her bank account. After a shopping spree this weekend, she only had $265.37 left. How much money did Jane spend this weekend? Not as much as Miss Love would. She wouldn't have that much left. Okay, so we started with this much, and then we spent some money, and we have this much left. So if I subtract them, I'll be able to find out how much she spent. Okay, so 2 numbers after the decimal, 2 numbers after the decimal, which makes sense because we're talking about money. It's $392.85, and we're going to subtract that from $265.37. Okay, remember, you can always pause, try it yourself, and then unpause to double check. You can't take 7 from 5. So let's borrow. Now that's 15. 15 minus 7 is 8. 7 minus 3 is 4. Bring down your decimal. Can't take 5 from 2, so let's borrow. That's now 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 8 minus 6 is 2. And 3 minus 2 is 1, which means she spent $127.48. Okay. If you didn't get a chance to copy down the steps at the bottom, of course, you can pause the video and copy them down. Okay, and then unpause. Here's how we fold our foldable. Okay, so I take the top part and I just fold it down like that. And now here it is. You open it up. It's a nice cool booklet. On the left is all the adding problems. On the right is all the subtracting problems. Okay, flip it over, put some glue on the back, and then you're going to glue it into your spiral notebook so that you have this cool little booklet that looks like this. Okay, and then you can label it that it was adding and subtracting decimals if you want. Congratulations, you've yet mastered another standard. You know how to add and subtract with decimals. Don't forget to line them up, and don't forget to put them with your final answer.